Does Latin build important thinking skills? Hi, I'm Emily Weiss, host of Latin Storytime, where I help you introduce your child to the Latin language through diglot or two-language forms of classic children's stories. In this Why Latin series, I'm looking at the most commonly made claims about why you should consider Latin study. Are these claims true? And if so, are they good reasons for pursuing Latin? Today we're going to look at the question of thinking skills. Does Latin build logic, mental discipline, precision, or intelligence? If you haven't already, check out the previous videos in this series. I'll link them below. Now let's look at the studies that have been done. I found two studies referenced, one in the 1920s and one in the early 2000s, that look specifically about Latin's effect on intelligence or reasoning skills. And in these two studies, the conclusion was that Latin had no effect on intelligence and reasoning skills, which is actually really surprising to me as a Latin student and teacher. Now, contrast that with two other studies that I found referenced, where students in, I think, about the middle grades some were given Latin instruction and some weren't. And in those studies, the students who received Latin instruction had increased scores or increased abilities in not just the language reasoning, but mathematical reasoning. Now, these benefits, or we could call them cognitive benefits of Latin, are also commonly claimed about other languages. I'll link below a page from the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages that gives a whole host of studies that have been done about how language instruction or bilingualism have positive cognitive benefits. So is Latin better somehow than other languages in providing these cognitive benefits? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any good comparative sources for this question, but some people might point to the difference on standardized test scores between Latin students and students of other languages. Quite frequently, Latin students place very high in standardized test scores compared to other language study groups. But my concern would be that this isn't necessarily an indication of causation, where Latin is causing the increased standardized test scores, but more likely it's a correlation. If you think about it, students who are able to take Latin, whether it's in public or private school, are probably in better quality schools than the general population. Also, students that are drawn to Latin, whether through interest in other related areas or desire to pursue studies like law or medicine, or who even just see Latin as a difficult subject and therefore are drawn to it, are more likely to already have standardized test scores regardless of whatever language they study. That's just my supposition, but it's something to consider. So let's assume that Latin does have these positive cognitive benefits, which I think it probably does. And let's assume, just for the moment, that Latin is the best language to take in order to get these cognitive benefits. Is that still a good reason to take Latin? Well, I would suggest, as many people claim, that all aspects of a well-rounded education, art, music, mathematics, science, are going to have positive effects on other areas. Each one of those disciplines will lead you into a new realm of logic and structure, and so you'll see cognitive benefits if you have a well-rounded curriculum, which could include Latin. The thing about using cognitive benefits as a reason for taking Latin is it doesn't give us a clear end goal. At what point are you done with your Latin study? Is it just when you reach a certain age? Is it when you reach a certain test score? It's kind of ambiguous what our final end goal is. And also, how do we get there? You probably would get there by the heavy grammar instruction that you'll see in most traditional Latin programs. So that's something to consider if this is a benefit that particularly draws you to Latin. But let's keep going on our journey and see if we can find some more persuasive reasons to do Latin. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in our next installment. Bye!